Welcome to Social Work Updates. In this video, we are going to talk about different social casework approaches. Whatever approach is employed, the four components of social casework must relate to the nature of the client's situation. New social problems are likely to emerge as a society gets more modernized, urbanized, and industrialized, while old ones may worsen and become more serious. The urban resident who lacks the typical social support networks of family group and community present in the countryside gets isolated, and in the struggle for survival in the city, this may develop psychosocial disorders. To deal with human difficulties, social work has evolved over time to become extremely advanced and specialized in its intervention. The Philippines has gotten to the point when the emergence of societal problems affecting men, women, children, and youth necessitates treatment techniques that are differentiated. A handful of these approaches will be briefly discussed here. We have the functional, problem-solving, psychosocial, task-centered, crisis intervention, and family-centered approaches are examples of these approaches. Let's start with what is functional approach. Functional approach is a social casework approach for integrating the client in the usage of a social service toward his own and general social welfare through a one-to-one interaction. Smalley was the one who conceptualized this strategy. He emphasizes that the supply of a service or services to the client is the focal point of intervention. Due to the pervasive poverty in the Philippines, at the time this was the most usual strategy. Next is, what is problem-solving approach? According to Perlman, the second approach employs the problem-solving process as medium of intervention. It is assumed that the person's typical problem-solving skills or resources have failed, become impaired, or have become maladaptive. As a result, he has resorted to a social agency for help and/or psychosocial support to deal with his current issue. The treatment focuses on assisting the person in going through the scientific problem-solving process so that he can act and solve our problem with minimal assistance. The problem-solving experience may be so valuable that the client absorbs and applies what he has learned to other difficulties he may face in the future, even if the worker is no longer around to assist him. Next approach is what is psychosocial approach. The diagnostic approach is another name for the psychosocial approach. The treatment here, according to Gordon Hamilton, is centered on the man and his functionality. It is focused with man's inner world, his emotional, mental, and social processes, as well as his societal setting. Originally used in psychiatric and other clinical settings, there is now a rising trend in the Philippines to use it with clients who have experienced traumatic event or who are in particularly tough circumstances, as a result of the exploitation of men and women, youth and children, violent family relationships, armed conflicts between government troops and dissidents or left-wing or right-wing oppositionists, or natural disasters such as those caused by devastating typhoons. What is task-centered approach? One of most recent strategy to be developed is the task-centered approach. According to Reed and Epstein, the approach focuses on assisting individual clients in achieving particular or limited goals of their own choosing within a short and delimited term of service. It is presumptively true that a short-term strategy can be just as efficient as a long-term strategy. It focuses on a specific behavior that has to be altered or a change in the physical or social environment, similar to crisis intervention but with a task for the client to complete. And now let us proceed to what is crisis intervention. According to Golan, crisis interventions are the use of a casework method to try to affect a person's psychosocial functioning during a period of disturbance. Its goals are the following. First, to decrease the immediate detrimental consequences of stressful events. And second is to assist the individual directly affected in mobilizing latent resources and capabilities so that he can cope more effectively with the repercussions of the crisis. Last but not the least is what is family-centered approach. The family-centered approach is the unit of interest is the family. Although casework is the process of working with individuals, the worker also interacts with the individual's surrounding environment, which is typically the family in the Philippines. This strategy, according to Hartman and Laird, places the family at the center of the field of action. This would not imply that the individual must be subjected to the family or that the social worker should engage with the entire family. It means that human beings are best understood and assisted when they are viewed in the context of the intimate and powerful systems in which they are embedded. Hence, the family is the most significant of these systems. And that's it. Thanks for watching. For more social work updates, please watch and like the video, hit the bell and subscribe to my YouTube channel.